Okay, everybody, we're just going to dive straight into it because we've got a live one this week before Golden Week. Um, we are back with Public Safety Special Broadcast coming to you from the Public Safety Ultra Secure Media Bunker. I am, of course, your host, Public Safety Media Division 18 Vice Captain Secret Doves. This week we're talking about Chainsaw Man Chapter 164. Before we get into that, let me have my guests and correspondents around that give their name, age, and devil contract, as is tradition. Of course, I am age 33, and my contract is with the War Devil. Chihiro, go ahead.
My name is Chihiro. I am 26 officially now, and my
Happy birthday!
Yes.
it was a couple days ago, but
Well,
my contract is with
Belated.
the hater devil, and well, it was, but like
Absolutely.
I think Kendrick took that. I think he took that
Yeah.
from me. I gotta go make a new contract.
we
The
gotta make a Kendrick Drake reference here somehow.
You do?
Holy shit.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yoru won so bad this week. It's not even
Yeah,
funny.
that's true. The War Devil is up.
So
The War
evil.
Devil's up
It's so
and the
evil.
Hater Devil's up. Alright, Suzu, go ahead.
My name is Suzu. I'm 17. I work as a janitor still. Yeah, still.
Damn, no promotion yet.
Yeah.
My devil
Keep
contract
laughing.
is the Tomato Devil and the Doom Devil because our
Amen.
couples are always doomed.
You got a new one. Maybe with the new contract, they'll let you rise up in the ranks a little bit. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Hopefully.
Pretty good. Yeah. We're working on a union at public safety, but
Why would you say that? Okay.
Is Aki included?
Dog, he's not
no comment on the gun fiend's status. We're talking about chapter 164. Oh, one last thing before I want to say thank you everybody for 300 subscribers on the channel.
Let's go.
Big love that. Love to see all the support. Love to see all the comments. Thank you, all of our listeners out there. You are helping increase the understanding between public safety and the public, making the world a safer, less fearful place, I guess. Maybe. Let's talk about this chapter.
Is it really doing that? I feel like we're like anticipating the worst that could happen.
Oh yeah. A little bit.
But yeah, go ahead.
Chapter 164, the topic I want to kick off with, because every time I always tap in Zuzu whenever we got some AsaDen juice, but every time we're always end up talking about some other shit because
we're always off topic.
There's always
it's alright, I get it. But it's so funny because the main topic of this chapter is like AsaDen, so we can't really escape it, can we?
We can't talk around it. There's nothing else going on. It is happening now. Not, I think, in the way most people thought about it. So let's get into it. AsaDen, I know you both have thoughts on this. Where are we at? What's going on?
Well, first of all, if we're gonna talk about AsaDen, we gotta talk about Yoru, obviously.
Exactly.
Right?
I was gonna bring that up because.
Okay.
I mean, Yoru is a very important element in the relationship because I cannot explain this. It just ties all of it together. It's a fated doomed thing, just a whole mess.
And it's not just the fate and doom. It's like, again, my brain is tuned into Warsaw right now because like we know that Chainsaw and War, there's something there because he did.
There's something going on, for
right?
sure. For sure.
And then to have that like mirror Asa and Denji in like the way both War understands Chainsaw and Asa
Mhm, mhm,
understands
mhm,
Denji,
mhm.
and then Asa falling in love with Denji and Chainsaw Man separately and together. I was like, my brain, we need to
This is
start.
you're seeing the vision. We're starting to see it come together. We did a
I'm
little.
trying not. I'm not trying not to laugh because I've been saying this. Wait, I've said something before about this. Thing is, Chainsaw Man and Yoro are both reflections of Asa and Denji, right? So this,
Exactly.
like this whole thing is just flipping like the coins and seeing each other from different perspectives. And
Uh,
now that they like
yeah,
your Asa and you're getting to know Chainsaw Man better, and I
getting
think
into
like
Chainsaw Man.
especially seeing that within the first couple of pages, Yoru gets to know Chainsaw Man or Denji better, and
Right.
it changes her views on him, kind of, doesn't it?
She. I wonder. It's interesting because, in a way, this is Yoru's first time, like, being around Denji at length.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, she was always just kind of lurking, letting Asa do
Take
her.
control. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she would pop out to do some evil shit, you know? Go!
Malicious things.
Now that
Yes!
she's confronted finally, I think it's very interesting. It's very, very
Yes.
interesting.
She's confronting Denji. She has been acting more human. She's been infected uh with
Asa brain.
Asa Asa's human
Well,
mindset.
she is Asa.
Right.
She is
And
Asa.
she
So
That's an interesting point of the dynamic is like Yoru feels Asa's emotions, but not the other way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
And also one thing I really liked, I think it was at around page 8, where like we're missing a lot of the internal dialogue between the two, but just
yes,
by their faces
done.
you can tell. Because Yoru makes a like that face, and then Asa takes over.
yeah,
I'm like, I
yeah.
feel like I'm missing a conversation here.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Yes,
not seeing their
you can see the
internal
surprised
banter.
face. Like she didn't think like it'd be so like maybe gentle. I don't think so, but like he wouldn't attack her, right?
I, I mean, I'm really interested in yours expression here. Obviously, Yoru is, the character of part two. On the
Yeah,
cover of the first volume. She's the driving force and still sort of the driving force of the narrative right now.
in a
Her.
lot
Makima
of
would like
ways. Yeah,
Makima
she
would
is
like to have a
the
word.
war.
my, she had her time, all right. She's still lingering, haunting, but only one of these characters has recently kicked our titular protagonist in the balls, setting off this entire sequence of this chapter. Lots of interesting details to go through here in terms of, Asura and Denji. We're starting off with Yoru. She's about to rev Denji's engine, and I don't even know what that would do. If, like, is that an auto thing? If he doesn't feel like transforming and someone pulls on it, does he transform anyway? I don't think we've ever seen that.
I think it's
Uh,
unconscious.
no, I think it did happen sometimes. I think with the Ghost Devil and maybe in Volume 10 when he transformed into the Black Chainsaw Man. But that must be something
Black
different.
Chainsaw Man, he pulled it himself.
Uh-huh.
And,
What about
uh,
the Ghost Devil then?
the Ghost Devil, Himeno was pulling it, but he was trying to fight. You know what I mean? Like he was,
Uh-huh.
he
Right.
was. Here, he's like,
He
I
doesn't.
need to find Naruto. I don't really want to be Chainsaw Man. Like, well, he really doesn't want to be Chainsaw Man right now.
By the way, the name of the chapter is Charred Remains. It
Charred.
really alludes to this expectation of something really sinister actually happening. That something with Naruto
and
happening.
No. Yeah. Oh God. Please no.
it could
Oh.
also
It's really,
mean
it's kind of awful that Denji still thinks he's kind of dreaming.
it's
That
not
is
just
true.
that, but like the charred remains could also just be about like the fires affecting Denji's fucking mental state. Like there is
Yeah,
nothing there right
yeah.
now. He's
True.
crying
Maybe
like a baby. Where's
that.
Nayuta right at the start?
Okay. Let's talk about Nayuta's status a little bit because
Oh, Naruto.
we have, according to the lore of the story, we have basic confirmation when uh, Asa and Yoru say who's Nayuta and what all. Uh,
They don't remember the date, right?
yes, they don't remember that they have met Nayuta before and been turned into a dog. They forgot
They
this.
If they remembered, I
forbore.
think Yori beat the shit out of Denji.
True. Uh, but that should mean that Naita is still alive. Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe she's in a coma state.
Okay.
I
However,
feel okay. Yes.
the only problem with this theory is that we know in canon that, like, the hybrids don't remember the time under Makima's control. Even now, even though Nayuta has come back to life.
Does Nayuta? Because didn't Nayuta inherit a bunch of Well, no, she inherited
No,
Makima's
no,
memories,
she had to
which
look up Makima's memories. She has Benji's memory of Makima. She doesn't actually have her own memories as Makima, which is such a fucking. Ugh.
Well,
What's
I think he's
yeah,
just toying with us. I don't think he's serious. I pray he's not. I
yeah.
pray.
All I will say is that there is a canon argument that the knight is still in danger. We do not know her status fully, but we've got a little bit more evidence that she should be
But
alive. She should
Harem
be
does
okay.
remember.
I don't, I don't
He
think she's
wasn't
in.
under the influence, I know, but like generally speaking, he remembers, right?
No,
Uh,
Baron was just like just an evil, malicious motherfucker. He was there for the fun of burning shit down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Question as to whether Barem was under Makima's control. I think he was, though. His comment that he and Denji don't remember each other, even though they have met before, is kind of.
Oh.
Everyone has found out about the events after the fact and understood what is going on, but people don't
How did they
remember.
find out?
Interesting question. That's a, that's a good
Hopefully,
one.
Fujoda will answer.
Who
I'm trying
leaked
to think
info?
that the hybrids took Naruto. Like, that's what I think for now.
The
Well,
weapons? Her?
Yeah.
I
Maybe,
think
yeah.
it's Kishibe. So I think she's not like in trouble, but she's like in a
You
precarious situation.
This is like best case scenario.
you
Worst
see
case scenario.
you see the Kishibe. I'm coming back around to my idea that Kishibe somehow became the mayor of Tokyo. Mayor of the DUI. That would just be.
You really think so? I don't think
I think.
he'd really do that. He's a bum.
He is a bum. He's such a bum.
He was a pretty hardworking guy, guys. Right? You know, he was training people. He was fighting. He was making deals. He was trying
That
to defeat
don't
my
All
He's
right,
the
we're getting sidetracked, guys.
okay. Okay.
Let's
Look,
let's.
Nigel, we all want her to be okay. She better be okay. I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I will find his place of residence. Don't
The
test me,
Yeah.
problem
Tsuchimoto.
is not is the bigger problem is that Denji blames himself for all of this.
See,
I
I
Yeah.
mean,
had
partially it
One
is
way or
his fault,
another.
but not
Yeah.
in a way that like
he
he
thinks it
didn't
is.
want Naruto to be in danger
Oh no 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 no! I
and
had
everything else.
this was the original thesis of like the thing I was writing, and then Kendrick decided to drop and like derail everything.
Well,
Like,
you're live
Okay,
now. You're
let's hear
in the
it.
booth
Let's hear
now.
what you were trying to say.
You have to channel the Kadon energy and let loose. A
okay,
free
so one thing with Denji, and this is like the thing that I absolutely one of the things I identify with him the most is like that sort of feeling of catharsis, and that's something that's carried him from like pretty much the start of the story since he got like a modicum of power. Because the second he gets like a job with like public safety, not even like officially yet, right? He goes and meets Aki, who to him is like this, you know, sort of posh, middle class, like know it all motherfucker who's like, you shouldn't even be in this job. Like, you're such a bum, you don't know nothing. He kicks him in the nuts immediately
Yeah.
because he's been told
He
this
Catharsis.
was
his
kind
whole
of
life.
forced to work with Aki. He wanted to work with Makima.
Oh no, I know
Yeah.
that, but like, he has like a modicum of power now, which he didn't have. Like, he couldn't kick the balls of the mafia guys because like
Mhm.
the
Yes.
consequences would be too dire. But like now that he can, he's like, "Fuck you. Here's a kick in the
Yeah.
nuts, and another one, and another one, right?"
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
And when the past with like the mafia comes back, like, so the very
Yeah.
first act of catharsis Denji makes in the story was when he first turns into Chainsaw Man and basically murders
Murdered.
every member of the
Yeah. All
mafia
the
that
Yakuza.
like tortured him
Mm-hmm.
for so long. And so
Mm-hmm.
that cathartic
Mm-hmm.
release came with punishment in the form of Katana Man showing up and like
Yeah.
blowing, because like he came right after him and Himeno finally came to like an understanding. Katana Man comes in and just ruins that. So that is the
Yeah.
Yes.
consequence of his catharsis, right? And this is like a
Mm,
pattern. Whenever
okay.
Denji finds catharsis, it's
A
immediately
bunch of
met with
horrible shit.
punishment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
There's a there is a long long running theme that I do think is being pushed on harder that is kind of overlooked.
It's
Uh
really reminiscent of Fire Punch, I'll just say. It's very, very reminiscent of Fire Punch. If I
and
may
he
say, too, Denji uses Chainsaw Man to live.
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's exactly what he's doing.
because like
Otherwise, he doesn't feel alive.
even with like
Ah
Makima,
yes.
like when he finally is like, okay, I'll turn my brain off. That's like it's gonna sound like contradictory, but there is a freedom in just being like, I don't care to think anymore.
Yep.
Just
Nope,
do whatever.
not thinking about it.
And
Yeah, but that's not really the reason why Denji thinks that way. It's because he doesn't want to make mistakes and wants someone to make the right choices for him. He
exactly.
thinks
Right.
it's the right answer, but in
You
reality, he's just
think
giving
about
up his freedom
Asa.
and
And the reason he came to that decision was because of like all the shit building up before. And so he's like, I don't want to make these like bad decisions anymore. Make the decisions for me. That itself is a form of catharsis. And that's met with being forced to kill his sister. Like,
well,
Right.
you can't necessarily call it his sister. It's more complicated than that,
I
obviously.
know, but like, she was someone that was one of the last little links that he had at the time. And Makima's like, Lumfao.
Yes.
And
Uh
now, in part two, Chainsaw Man is explicitly a lot more than in part one. Chainsaw Man is explicitly an expression of freedom for Denji. As Chainsaw Man is popular, as
Yeah,
Chainsaw Man, like
yeah,
it is
absolutely.
he ideal. Like, Chainsaw Man is an idealized like form for Denji, right? And so when he's not able to turn into that, it is a sort of repression. And so when the hybrids come in and
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh,
absolutely.
you can turn into him now," he's like, "Oh fuck, thank God." That's a cathartic release. And now Nayuta's missing.
You
Like,
know, yeah, I see what you're going at with it. There's an interesting aspect of like the it's like the aftermath of catharsis. It's like you
exactly,
normally you do the heroic cycle with the cycles of catharsis, right? Where
exactly. Catharsis is usually at the end, right?
you
Where it's
beat
like,
the
"Oh,
guy,
I
and yeah, and there you go. But
But it's very realistic to show how it can lead to bad things, right?
well, it
If
doesn't always lead
isn't it?
to like, well, it's sort of like it's like a question of like what is the story beyond catharsis, you know what I mean? what
exactly."
Yeah,
is what is the hero's journey after, like after you do the thing? The whole cycle is you do the thing. How What happens after you do the thing? It's sort of I don't know, like an old school exploration of this, like a modernist kind of thing. They would
I
love
think it's alluding to maybe Denji repeating the same mistake over and over again, and the mistake is not learning to love himself,
I don't know for sure because
or maybe something
Denji
like that.
Denji doesn't know himself. Like there isn't enough of a self there for him to love. Like he's still
Yeah,
looking for an identity, and that's why he latches onto Chainsaw Man as much as he does in part two,
yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly.
he's still kind of ignoring his past,
Real
who
problems, right?
Oh, he
what
is
he's done. Uh, I don't know if he ignores his problems so much as like himself. Like Jiro was saying, like, he chops up his brain to not think
exactly.
about hockey and power. Uh he just sort of acquiesces to Yoshida's demand to not become Chainsaw Man without any particular like thought about it. He's just trying to protect his day to day and stay alive, and that's really all it. He doesn't think deeper about like what he wants, like what what his goals mean, why they are his goals, what the point of this is, and so constantly
Yeah,
because he
he
hasn't
doesn't
thought
want to
about
think about it.
because he hasn't thought about he like has his goals, but he doesn't really think about his goals or why he has them. And so constantly when he
Yeah,
reaches the point of catharsis and achieves a goal, then afterwards he's kind of lost again, right?
And it's
Sort
not
of.
necessarily even
yeah.
lost. It's like it is actively detrimental each time
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that is a cathartic like it's like trying to get to catharsis without going through the entire hero's journey, right? Because like a lot
Uh,
of times
Interesting.
It's still living in ignorance.
like
Is
Denji is a very ignorant motherfucker. Like
I
I mean,
think that the root of the problem is that is still hiding or at least not acknowledging the door. Like
yeah.
he doesn't acknowledge the self, the Denji that killed his father. That's why he clings so
Right.
much to Chainsaw Man. It's like it's like a savior to him, like something that gives him purpose, something else than being a murderer, right? So
it's not even like Chainsaw Man gives him purpose. It's that Chainsaw Man gives him
it does give him
something.
purpose, no?
Oh, it gives him something, right? Like I don't Denji isn't
It's better
necessarily
than
interest.
nothing.
I know it is, but Denji isn't necessarily being interested in isn't interested in being a hero. He's interested in getting praised for being a hero. Right? That's why he turns into Chainsaw Man.
I don't think it's because he is praised as a hero. It's
But
because, like, okay, let's take like
I
what
mean,
he told
I gotta.
Yoshida at the end of volume 12, right?
hmm
Uh, because once my secret's out, the ladies will be all over me, right? So what he's looking for is love and acceptance from other people. That's why he's clinging so much to Chainsaw Man, because that's how he can get accepted. Because otherwise he won't be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've said it before, but like Denji has a very like this ability to maintain a positive attitude even in like awful situations, but we
It's
know,
because he distances himself, right?
right,
He's
he
distancing
doesn't,
himself from the situation.
he completely
he still
alienates
doesn't
himself
like it.
sometimes.
Yeah, he is adapted to uh being on the bottom rung, taking whatever he has to take to
Yeah,
get by. He is adapted to that, and he has a mentality that lets him like deal with that and handle it, which gives him a kind of resilience. But he doesn't like it. He's not okay with it. We also know as well. Like he doesn't like he understands his situation. So him getting him getting sat on in fucking class as a chair. I mean, yeah,
It's another case of him just not having a self to value, right? It's like, cool, I get
yeah,
money. It's like he projects a lot of what should be like a self onto other people, because the reason he's getting sat on is
it's
for a little bit
true.
of change
True.
in order to
yes,
like make money for Nayuta for
right,
college, right? So a part of him
right.
is like, I'm willing to debase myself for this other person, right? And it's
Yep.
like,
I
and
think
He
it,
he
can't look
believes that other
himself.
people are better than them.
oh
Maybe
yeah,
I'm wrong.
no,
Like
I that's
that's why he's so considerate of them.
that's where a
Yes,
lot of his selflessness comes from, right? Like
Yeah.
he might be a brash idiot, but even
yes,
from like the start of the story, Himeno pukes in his mouth, and he's still like willing to take care of her, because at that point when she's like drunk, she kind of needs him, right? And it's like, oh, that's like, that's someone that needs me to be a better person. So like people are like, oh, why didn't you take advantage of it? And it's like, because why would he? Right? This person
yeah,
like needed him at the moment. Why would he get them in trouble? Why would he cause trauma to them? Right? It's not his desire to. And like when given the choice, he is very protective of people, at least the ones close to him, the ones that need him. Right? And that like there's too many threads, and I want to put them all together. But like I said, some motherfuckers did not let me sleep for 2 days.
yes. We're Kendrick needs to can Kendrick drop in the afternoon, please, so we can all like be rested for our jobs. We'll see what happens today.
He's showing up in people's nightmares, dog. That's what he's doing.
Fucking,
Bro,
he's an absolute
he's
boogeyman.
All
Jesus
right,
showing
Christ.
let's
up
get
in
into the let's
Japan.
finish
Okay.
this chapter. Let's
This
get into it.
chapter, we've covered Denji at length. Last thing I wanted to
Yeah.
add, whenever you're talking about Denji, what he's fighting for, why he's doing things, I always come back to the one of my favorite panels of the whole series. Uh, I don't fight for any reason. I was just swinging my arms around, uh, and before I knew it, everyone was calling me Chainsaw Man. A very
It's
in-
so good. It's so good.
interesting line, I think. there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here related to Carlisle. I'm going to talk about that next week, though. I have a lot to say about
Oh,
at length. Special episode coming up, but let's get into the details of this chapter. Nayuta, they're going to look for her. They go to the charred remains of the house. This is, of course, the what is probably the reference of this title, unless you want to read more into it.
The
We are
charred remains of his
at his house.
normalcy. The charred remains of the false ideals he had about being
Yep.
able to just live as like an extension of what public safety wants. There's so many
Yep.
charred remains reference.
to
Uh,
live normally. There's no such
Exactly.
thing
one thing I
as
do want to
happiness
cover.
except in your dreams, right? What
We've
Kobeni
been.
said.
Oh my, yes. Fucking Kobeni, come back. Get your brother. One topic I do want to cover. Uh, on this chapter as the very slight lighter note is what are the the gangs all here, guys?
The gang's all here. This is such
Everyone's
a
saying
dun
the
dun dun
nail theme.
chapter, I'm gonna say. It feels
But
very like the climax of dun dun dun, or like after, like when they're
oh
all
yeah,
eating together. Those are my favorite like parts of dun dun dun, actually. It
those
really
are
reminds me of superhero movies that were like just in mid 2010s, you know.
Oh,
yeah,
the coffee shop after.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Fujimoto's definitely been channeling the real superhero energy uh, of in part two. This is very Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, you know,
Gotta
Marvel
get into Kamen
movie
Rider
kind of.
soon. Oh man.
Dude, part two is just tokusatsu. Like, like people showing up on the roofs out of nowhere. You know, this is literally just he watched a bunch of Kamen Rider while he was writing the one shots, and he was like, "I gotta do it."
So
I
I
gotta cook.
already had a Kamen Rider reference with the scarf that Black Chainsaw Man wears.
yeah,
Uh,
true.
that
And
was
the
very
bike.
Rider homage. We had the Super Chainsaw motorcycle, another Kamen Rider reference. You know, we are in Kamen Rider territory, and this is a very Kamen Rider uh, way that the story is structured, I would say. Speaking of the story structure, all right, it's all coming together in a very unusual way. We had our Asa section. Speaking of AsaDen, the true topic of this chapter today, and Asa, I do just want to speak on Asa a little bit. It's been a while since we had like any real character focus on Asa. We got little dabs and little sprinkles and dashes, a little uh, amuse bouche of
Yeah, we didn't really get a lot of her lately.
in
Or
the
in
in
that
the
serious.
in this jailbreak little goofy section that we went through those 7 chapters.
Yeah.
We were getting
More people
hints.
expected it to be really big and dramatic, but it turned
I
out
mean,
to be
I
kind
did
of,
too. He,
yeah.
oh, speaking of catharsis. Anyway,
We are denied catharsis. Get
that's
fucked.
right. That's right. That's exactly
Well,
right.
at least this chapter not, right?
Well,
I
let's talk
mean,
about it. So Asa
They
comes in.
haven't talked in a year. They haven't talked in a goddamn
Well,
year.
okay, in IRL time, a year.
In
In
IRL time.
universe,
It
I
felt
think it's
like
probably
ages.
been like it's a few weeks. Is what I.
I think maybe a month.
Yeah,
Maybe a
and it's not been that long though. I rereading the church arc in one full sitting, volume style. It was much more apparent that what we missed from Asa was not a long period of time. Still a little annoying to have it off screen, but more forgivable when you don't have to wait a literal year time.
Exactly. I
When you
think we're
have
just
like
being too
15
greedy.
minutes between the 10 chapters and not 6 months. you're,
Yeah.
like, you're like, well, okay, this is a little more acceptable, you know?
Yep.
But yeah. So it's been a while. It's been a long time for us, the people at home.
People.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're 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 talking again. Let's talk about this conversation. It's a very interesting
it
one.
starts with Yoru.
It does start with Yoru. Yoru is man, I love this fucking character. Devils are so interesting to me with their psychology and how um, they're not unemotional, right? Because Yoru has
No, they're very emotionally charged. I mean, it's
plenty of
created with
emotion,
human fears, right?
but they have a, I guess you'd call it like animal rationality. You know, the kind of thing
Yeah.
where like, you'll see like an animal like eat their own children or some shit, and you're like, what the
It's like they
fuck?
have
You
some
know?
rule.
um,
Yes.
I don't. I wouldn't necessarily call it animal like rationality as much as it's just an entirely different moral framework. Because
Yeah.
True.
what we
I think it's
consider
kind of different for devils too.
exactly
Each
right, they
devil
have.
separately.
I wish we had a more to go off of, but
Well,
like there no, but like when we go to like something like hell, where they get dropped into like the realm of like the darkness devil, and he immediately greets them with like fucking horrors beyond human comprehension, right?
yeah.
Like
He's
it might seem like animal or like instinct or whatever, but like it just, to me at least, it felt like it's like, oh, here are the rules, you know, you come here
mm,
and
Yeah.
face the
they have
horrors.
they have
Right?
they have this
There is
other
something like that.
society going on. I wonder
And
if we'll ever get anything like that. Fujimoto
because
I think
really
with
damn.
darkness
Like,
devil it could be just the impact of just its influence. It's
yeah.
so detrimental, it's so scary that it might even do that not out of its own will.
no, that's what I'm
Mm,
saying. Like it's just
just
rules
like
it's following, and just like with
uh,
Fallen, when
sort of cosmic horror type thing. Like,
exactly, and when Fallen
yeah,
happens, she's like, oh, let me
yeah,
just take these little bits, you know, and then she presents it to the devil. Here's your dinner, and when they spit it
yes.
out, it's the rule. You're supposed to eat your food. You don't spit out your food in
Mhm.
like in front of a chef, and so
Yeah,
she executes him. Right? Like
I see. So it's like this. So
Mm.
like,
I think it's
so
because they disrespected her. Actually, isn't that because of her?
it is. It's not just that, but it's disrespectful. But like, there's codes, and you gotta follow the
yeah,
codes.
yeah. It was like,
A little bit differently than codes, but I guess that does make sense. But what about Yoru's codes? What are her codes, right? What
yes.
code does she go by? She goes by
I
the code of revenge, right? She has this deep-seated hatred, but we're not sure why.
I don't know if it's hatred.
It's kind of
that's what I
hatred, to be honest.
foresaw. Maybe I think Yoru the hatred is legitimate, but she's getting confused by Asa's. She, she can't handle the emotions that Asa has. She doesn't understand them, so she's getting caught up. We see
and
her so mechanically. The dynamic between Asa and Yoru is that Yoru has the what? She's in the driver's seat. She can let you Asa swap in if she feels like it, but default, she can take control unless something scary is happening, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is what you're the worst, Fujimoto. It's like whenever awful things are happening, Asa has to be the one to go through it.
She's the one who's confronting it, right?
Oh my god. I hate
It's
this guy.
wonderful, I think. It's good for her.
It's great. It's incredible
Not
writing.
just that,
Worst
but
thing ever. But it's so fucking
We're getting off track, guys. We're getting off track.
okay. But the point is that we see Yoru relinquish control to Asa multiple times, and it seems to be like Asa is like, hold on, let me in. You know what I mean? Like Asa's
Let
like,
me try, right?
yeah, let me talk to him, and then your Asa takes over. And so something is going on with Yoru's mindset all the Yoru heads out here, where she is now more sympathetic to Asa as a human. Like when
I mean,
Asa's
she's
like,
been from the start, like since when she got bullied. So
yeah,
she's a
she
lot more
is.
sympathetic to her pain.
Yeah, she is. There is kind of a sense that like Asa Yoru found Asa, and then Yoru was like lonely, and so now she's
Oh,
grown attached to Asa. Uh, well, because everybody forgot her, she was all alone, and now she's got this person who
maybe she
she's
chose
about
us
to
because
come.
of kinship.
but like
Maybe.
Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting.
It would
Interesting.
make a lot of sense, and why she named herself Yoru as opposed to Asa. It's really cute, I think, how she named herself the opposite. Like it's just it's amazing.
Anyway, yours like the greatest character of all time. She yells at Denji to get his shit together because Knight's obviously dead. No sympathy. She may have developed some sympathy for Asa, but no sympathy for this punk loser
She
chainsaw
really
man.
wants him to get it over with, right?
and I
Yeah,
think Asa
She's not
like
very interested in Denji because she hasn't gotten to know him
yeah,
yet.
she doesn't care about Denji. She cares about Chainsaw. But I think I was thinking of the conversation that was happening in their heads when she relinquishes control. Because like Denji is not strong enough to stop Yuru from pulling that fucking chainsaw, right? Um, and so I think
I
it's just
think
Asa like you're not gonna get a real
right.
fight out of him. You're not gonna get a real fight out of him. It's not gonna be worth it. And then
I
she's
don't.
like,
I
Maybe.
think
"Fuck."
it's there's even more. There's something more to that too. I think it's very interesting how Fujimoto emphasizes the touch of hands. It's very interesting.
Oh
Last
yes.
time we've seen it was with Angel and Naki and Reze and Denji, which really alludes to romantic undertones. I think there's something to be said about that.
Uh,
Maybe Yoru feels something. Maybe she does.
I think you feel something for Chainsaw Man. I am like in. I am
you were
way in the
locked in.
Warsaw camp
Yeah,
at
for
this
sure.
point.
She feels a lot of things.
Yeah. Let's talk. Okay, let's get into the big AsaDen conversation here. We got a little
Yeah,
sidetracked because we had to rant about Yoru, but
and about
big
Denji and about
deal.
other stuff and la la la. Yeah.
Asa comes in. If there's anything I can do, tell me. I'll help with anything. Me too. I know how it feels when a family member dies because of you.
And not
Jesus
only once,
Christ.
twice, thrice. Like she, I think she really does understand his pain, even if this could work really well. But the problem is that she doesn't see how her behavior contradicts itself because of Euro.
I
Mm,
also don't think she's really considered because Asa's one of Asa's big problem is like a lot of self blame. Asa's family didn't die because of her, but she blames herself for it anyway. Now, Denji is also dealing with a lot of guilt. And so Asa saying, "Oh, your family member died because of you," is affirming Denji's guilt cuz that's
right,
the way he
Yeah.
copes, right? So I'm just like I don't know how
right. It's a very
you know,
interesting thing because
toxic Asa then, let's go.
both of
I
them
mean,
are
it's not like she knows
Oh
about
no 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 no.
right.
the other things, right? She thinks
Right.
she's doing the right thing. She goes by her heart,
Yeah,
obviously.
no,
And
that's
oh
that's
my
that's what
god,
makes it
like
better.
the touch of their hands. I'm like, thank God for
Yes.
Shimoda, but it's so doomed.
It's
It's like
Like she's hanging on to him. I can't
uh
even.
yeah, and Denji is not responsive to this. That's where it goes. We get a Denji rejects this attempt at
Connection?
emotional connection, and he says, why the hell are you trying to ease my emotions now when you were kicking me in the balls and trying to fight me earlier?"
Right.
The and
He's
some
just
comments.
frustrated with it, right? It's just like adding more.
I
Like it
mean,
doesn't make sense.
it's true. I really enjoyed this. This is a big sort of like, I mean, it's a big AsaDen moment. This interaction between these characters, and Asa coming in with the emotional haymaker of trying to sort of like reciprocate the help she received before. It's it's
But
so fucking.
it came at the wrong time,
I
right?
mean,
It's
yeah, there's that. Uh,
And also, one thing with the approach for both of them is that both of them approach having a devil inside them entirely differently. Asa and
mm-hmm.
Yoru are two different people, and not only are they two different people, they operate as two different people, right?
But
yeah,
they're the same in
Yeah, but they
reality.
share the same body, right? But
Not, I don't think only that. There's a lot of similarities they share beyond that. They're just two like sides of the coins of each other.
exactly,
Whereas Chainsaw Man's like an extension of himself too, right?
exactly. So like Denji isn't as like Denji and Chainsaw Man are a bit more transactional than Yoru and Asa. Yoru and
mm,
Asa feel like a more cohesive whole than
yeah,
Denji just summoning Chainsaw Man when he needs
right.
catharsis. Because Yoru
Denji
can just take over.
destroys himself and transforms, and Asa, it's just her with some scars.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's like
Damn, did
you're
those
Jesus.
lag?
concealed. You're there.
Yes, man, and this is a good one. Um,
And so when she approaches it, like, oh, like there's that like barrier that they just can't cross just yet, and it's gonna strain communication, like
yeah,
all barriers will.
people were mentioning that Asa deflects away from yours existence. She's still trying to keep it secret. Can people see the scars? I think the answer is no.
I don't think
Official,
people can.
no. Maybe the eyes, but the scars appear to be. Oh,
No.
whoop.
Hold up.
Well, I can keep going. The scars appear to be rumor, a visual cue for the audience, something that Asa sees herself, or something like that. But not necessarily a sort of uh, a
Change of
canon,
appearance.
yeah, visual effect. Although I think it will simply remain entirely ambiguous until the end. Right? I think it will simply be one of those things where we are like, oh, I
Damn,
The
really
I
want.
girl's
think I
back.
lost my internet for a second.
Yeah, it happens. It's what happened to me some more these days. We're back. We're talking about yours scars, are they visible or not? Because Asa was trying to keep it cool, and Denji apparently did not recognize them. Although I will say, in the Chainsaw Man universe, if someone has like some scars that appear and disappear, your immediate assumption is probably not like, oh, they probably have a devil inside them, and that they have like this split personality thing going on. You
You
might just
think they're
think, oh,
hurting
that's
themselves?
yeah. You might think they're weird. Like there's probably some weird devil stuff going on, but people just have like contracts with devils and weird things occur. You know,
Yeah.
so
And also there was like a dead Chainsaw Man thing body on the floor, and people just walked by it. So
yeah, people have
Oh wait, I think the problem with Denji not seeing scars is because he wasn't looking at her face. But wait, he was looking at the start of the chapter, so yeah, you guys might be right.
yeah, yeah. I think the conclusion is they aren't visible. Maybe they're sometimes visible, sometimes not. You know, one of these things. But
Well,
I do think we won't get an explanation, like at all. There's no shot this will ever
it's up to
be.
interpretation, probably.
oh yeah,
Yeah. It's just gonna, like I said, this is fucking tokusatsu storytelling. It's like if at the point that you've asked that question, you've gone too deep. You need to take a step back.
I love
I'm
that
worried
shit.
about this shit.
Well,
uh,
anyway,
but
Asa,
but
it's funny how Asa still insists after that turn into Chainsaw and fight me. Once we fight, you'll be able to live an ordinary, normal life.
yeah, I saw
Girl,
some
it does
takes that
not work, Denji.
she was
No.
like pretending to be Yoru because she
Your
got
yeah.
embarrassed. She pretended to switch.
No!
She was like, "Wait a
As
minute!"
if
And
you
it's
would
like,
know.
Asa, no one knows what you're doing. You're so it's
What is
just
she
for
trying to
herself.
do? What is she trying
What
to
is her? Uh, an interesting thing, you know. This is a very man. This is such. Asa's such a great character. You know, like she
I think
comes
she
in.
really tries so hard to do
She's
good.
trying. Yeah, she's trying to like help Chainsaw Man, Denji, the way she got helped, and then he, obviously has some other shit going on right now, Asa, and that completely throws her off, and she loses control of the situation immediately. Oh God.
Family say
Problem.
something.
The problem
Yeah,
is
very,
that
very soon.
they're not on the same. They don't know enough about each other.
Right.
Especially Asa doesn't know enough about his situation. Like everything she knows about Jinxman is from Fami and what she's like
Yeah.
seen so far, and it's not
Right.
much, to be honest.
And she
But
turns
she,
back to Fami in the end. She says, Fami, help me out. And Fami gives what is very clearly just a random response. She just not give a fuck.
I don't think it's random so much as it's just she wants to eat more food.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
she's still
well,
hungry.
hybrids do get hungry after they like dying and transforming again.
oh,
Like,
I
That's
know,
true.
but I think
okay,
Fami
okay,
is far more concerned
yeah,
about her own hunger than
yeah,
Yes,
probably.
Denji.
There's something.
but
There's something I want to add. Before she turns to Fami, Denji reveals like something. Like, whenever I
oh
become
yeah,
Shinron, everything around me turns terrible. I think it's a very important part that Asa has to understand now too. That
yeah. I mean, when we're talking
there's more
about
to it. He knows that it's detrimental to him, like, but he can't help it, right?
But
yeah,
that's also not true
Why not?
because I mean this is his
well,
emotional his I'm just using a word like a term I
well,
understand more.
for
It's his
example, for
huh?
example,
Yeah.
Denji saved Asa's life, or he saved
Yes.
Asa from falling devil,
Yes.
right? She could have died, right? And
True.
neither of them know that it was not a lethal threat. So, and saved her from despair. So, everything may turn terrible for Denji, but his actions have had a positive effect on other people's lives. And here is
Exactly.
one of them right now. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
And he
not
Exactly.
just that, but even for Denji, It's his depression
Mm,
talking. Whenever he
right.
turns to Chainsaw Man solely for catharsis, terrible things happen. But he can just
Yes.
use Chainsaw Man to like he's used Chainsaw Man to just help people,
He
right?
used
Like
He,
Chainsaw to protect power.
he used
exactly,
Chainsaw Man to defeat Makima, you know, for
Exactly.
himself, even in the end.
that was like a decision that ended well, and it was one of the few decisions he
I-
makes for himself.
Yes.
Well,
Like
is a little, a little much, but it
I
didn't.
think
He
it's just
didn't
because
go
of
horrible.
all the things that have come up until now. Like, his whole life got ruined. His
oh yeah,
past, his normalcy, his family, it just got ruined again. So obviously, it's gonna
Yeah.
think whenever I become Chainsaw, everything around me turns terrible. Like,
and
But
it's very
but
interesting to me.
that's
What is he planning to do now when both Denji and his Chainsaw persona are things he cannot be because they're like terrible, right?
uh
that's a good
Will he
question.
find himself?
What are they doing? Well, first they're getting sushi. Let's talk about the
Yeah,
sushi.
yeah, yeah.
Man says, maybe he's hungry because Fami's probably just hungry again. Uh,
And then his stomach growls.
had to get a fucking Katana Man panel in here at the end.
God, I
Uh,
have so many
saying
negative
some
things to
out
say
of
about that
pocket shit
motherfucker.
about. Why did you say that, dude? Who cares?
He
What are
said he
they?
calls her a shit woman in Japanese, right?
Yeah,
So on,
Just
I think.
it's pretty good translation. That's
God, I want
So,
to
well,
punch him in the jaw.
yeah. Thanks,
Do you
man.
think he can fight without transforming? I don't think he can. Like he has all that
he's a
This
under
guy,
loser.
control.
Obviously, he can't.
Exactly.
I think he can, but you might be surprised at how losers can fight. But man, this even the AsaDen back and forth continues right into the end because
I
Asa's
really,
like,
I missed it so much. Oh,
Asa's like, what do you want to eat? He's like sushi. She's like, not sushi though.
she's
Fuck
like,
me.
she's the kind of girlfriend that would say, pick any place, but not that place.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
The
narrow
type
it
of
Name
down.
boyfriend.
anything you want to eat except sushi.
Yeah, and Denji does not. This is not going for that. He has his mind set on sushi. All right, what do y'all think about this? Why is it sushi? I've seen all sorts of ideas as to what
I've
this
seen all
is.
sorts of ideas too. Yeah. I
Um,
don't know for sure, but so like me, he does know that Asa has a distaste for fish.
yeah,
Maybe it was on purpose, but I don't think he would go that far to like just
I think he
say
would.
that.
I
Again,
think you're right.
he's operating off of depression, and you just kicked me in the nuts.
To
Yeah,
be honest, that would be very fair. I think
you know,
partially it is that, but also maybe something him and Naruto ate a lot.
true. The other thing that comes up is Fumiko's mention of sushi, the sushi woman.
Yeah.
Sushi.
The parallels between Asa and Fumiko, like it's so obvious now that they're
Yes.
supposed to
Yeah.
be opposites.
Oh, yeah. It. I mean, yeah.
Ooh, and she never says, "I'm gonna save you."
Who?
I'm gonna
Asa?
save. Wait,
Asa.
Oh,
she
yeah.
does
Yeah.
say like she
She.
doesn't say it to his face, but she does say like I want to save him. I'm gonna save him. In a
Right.
Right.
way, right?
Yes. She
True.
says, "Ah, man."
She's
She
like,
wants
"I'll
to.
help you with anything, not
Right.
I'll be your savior."
Name anything.
Uh,
Like she doesn't
that's
have
true.
any certain ideas. She asks him first. Like, what does he want? Which is
Exact. That is
interesting.
the
Well,
because
she
being a
does not.
savior is an imposition.
Interesting. Interesting ideas here.
Right.
I like this. She does. She does have some ideas. She will
Well,
not
yeah,
accept the
obviously.
sushi. Uh,
But I think
and
that she still goes as far as to like listen to Fami, to like look at her. If her
yeah,
face changes,
yeah,
like she decides that okay, I'm gonna ask him. Maybe he wants to eat something. So there's that. Uh, I
yes.
also want to say character progression that Asa has from the early chapters to this chapter is kind of like astounding, but in a good way. I'm so proud of her. She
Yes.
she actively shows care for people instead of shutting herself off or like
Hmm. Yeah. She's
maybe
putting herself
thinking I could do something and regretting not doing it.
in there. Hmm.
She
She
finally
is.
has the opportunity to be there for someone like they were for her. So this is a very important moment for her character.
Coming back to Yoru. Uh, us and Yoru's relationship. Yoru
Are you
has
slushing that? Give me one.
All right, what did you want to say?
but Yoru and Asa, they're influencing each other. Yoru has given Asa a lot of, power.
Confidence, right?
You know what I mean? She's
Oh,
empowered
power
her.
too.
Yeah,
True, very
confidence,
true.
boldness, but also like the ability, when Asa wanted to save Chainsaw Man because of the War Devil power, she could run in there and fight the dudes and
Yeah,
try to fight Quan Chi. Like
further
they.
proves my theory that Yoru is just an extension of Asa, like two. It's not only
Yes,
opposites, it's just opposites
exactly.
can I think
Yes.
the problem is that Asa has divided herself into many parts at the start of the story. Like she didn't
Hmm.
allow herself to be selfish. Obviously, that's where the insecurity comes from of being too bold, too brash, too like wanting too
Hmm.
much. So Yoru,
Yeah.
yeah, Yoru comes in and changes her maybe into a better person or how she used to be.
Right. Sort of.
Into
Asa
something
had
new, actually. Into something new.
gone through all of this experience with losing her family. Dude, where is her dad? And uh, and with that had become very shut off and isolated because she felt like she had caused these things. She was some kind of bad omen. She would you know things for people around her, and now
Yeah.
that's still kind of true in a
But
way.
she
Like
doesn't
it's
really
still
focus on it because
right.
she knows what's important to her is gonna be the
Yes,
right way.
right. Like she has now seen that, like, you know the trail of blood uh
Oh, I see what you did there. I don't like
is
it much, but
yes, is like, it's like not inevitable, but like she should just do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, just
yeah.
blow up your fucking apartment. Just attack
Damn,
the
that's
facility. Just
holy
do it.
shit.
Like, don't even,
Is that
like,
inner you're talking in you?
oh yeah. Well, that's what I mean, Like, that's, but it's sort of like, what she was talking about when she saved Yuko is like, I want to do what I think is right, regardless
Right.
of if it causes um, harm after the fact, because
Because
I
she knows she's
that's what I
doing it
want to
out of
do.
the pureness of her heart, right?
She
Out
But
of
knows.
her own desires.
Yes.
then
Mm,
thematically, um, I'm trying to place it somewhere because on one hand, like It is a thematic decision that's praised or at least rewarded positively with Asa.
Not
But her,
really.
I mean, like
You know,
sometimes, like especially with,
the Yuko stuff does not go down well, right?
but that
And
Right.
was,
It doesn't.
this
but
whole Chainsaw Man thing has not, like, what she's doing with the church was not good for Denji. It was like a part of this whole insidious plot that she had no idea
Yeah.
about. And so, you know, she's doing these things with these intentions, but because she doesn't, I mean, here we go, some Asen Denji parallels, because she doesn't stop to assess the broader situation, right? You know, Denji doesn't stop and think, Makima's kind of, this is a
not
little
Right.
weird,
just,
huh?
well, Denji isn't experienced at all in that regard, but I think with
Well,
Asa, she has to, she was always, at least at the very start of the story, she was stuck in her head like very
right,
often. So she was someone that deliberated too much, and oftentimes deliberated to the point of like, okay, I'm not gonna do anything.
right.
Yeah. I
All right.
think the like maybe it was because of her loneliness and the shut off and like the deaths too. What was it trying to say? I think it just gives her more confidence, this mentality that I should go by what my heart tells me is right. It's better than doing nothing, right?
Exactly, because
Yes.
it would have been better. It is a better world because she saved Yuko. Even if Yuko turns into,
Well,
Even if
dies.
even if at the
No,
end it didn't turn out well, it still was like there was some change.
not just
right.
that. She still got that like 5 minutes where they were like chilling. You know, she still got
Mm,
some piece out of it,
interesting.
even if it's temporary. Even
And
I
if
I
that
would
think
was
say,
temporary.
it's not just getting things out of it. I think like the opportunity for change is what drives or what should drive you to do these things, right? Even if it causes harm, then if it
yes.
doesn't at the end, it does at least change something and something does happen.
Because like she
I will
saved.
say, I will say, I think if you're reading really any of Fujimoto's works, you do kind of have to abandon the idea that you're going to get from the story, from the characters, an idea of what was this thing the correct choice to do? Was
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
the
exactly.
Yeah, and that's
narrative?
why
This,
that's why I'm
yeah,
all that's why I focused and largely on the like thematically, because her saving Yuko was one of the early decisions she made for like herself, where it's not
mhm.
just for herself but
Exactly.
for Yuko. She's like, I'm
But
saving. I want to save Yuko. It's not like, oh, I need to. Oh, it's the socially acceptable thing to do. It is a,
Yeah,
I want
she
this
wants to
person to
say
live.
right. I think we're getting, even in this conversation, the thing that we're getting a lot of, like, complexity to the resolutions. Like I said, there's like this life beyond catharsis and what it means, and there's things that are good about it, and there's things that aren't good about it, and you know that
yeah,
the contradictions in there don't go away just because you had catharsis. So now Asa has changed and she's become this more confident person, and we see that's doing good for her and her psychology, and she's more confident, but she's also being extremely reckless. She's destroyed her own house. She is now like a serious wanted criminal. Although that was kind of, you know, already in the works, given that she is the war devil. So there's sort of not necessarily her fault there, but she was also like running around, just being the war devil, fucking out in the open, like, you know,
But
not a care in the world.
to contrast that with Denji, right? Um, Fuck. Sorry, I'm just trying to form the thing in my head because like she's still living a sort of freedom that Denji doesn't have.
Okay,
It's like, oh,
like
she's more reckless. She
said that to contrast this with Denji, like you said, she had literally. This is one of the points. She had literally what Denji was after. Um, when he was trying to be the famous celebrity superhero, right? She
Mhm.
literally stepped into Chainsaw Man's spot, was taking credit for Chainsaw Man's accomplishments. She didn't do that, but all the rumors were talking about her like that. She became the face of the Chainsaw Man Church. It's fucking his church. And now she's all over the posters. She literally uh, stepped into the role of Chainsaw Man as this uh, as this oh my god like superhero character that Denji had been trying to be. So there's a I do think there's a little bit of I think we'll see that conflict, that frustration and resentment from Denji come up more in the future. But we are going on an hour 15 here almost, a long one. But of course, this was a juicy chapter, even though it's quite a quick read. Um, there's just been so much building up to this. So,
It got locked or something. So I'm back.
well, unlocked now, but we are just going to wrap it up here, not with an outro. We have a break week this week. It is Golden Week in Japan. I hope everyone has a wonderful break week out there. Enjoy GW. Um, the where are we going? What are we seeing next chapter? Are we going straight to sushi? Will Fumiko be there? Will Reze be there?
No idea. No idea.
I have no idea where the
Okay, I
if
have an idea.
anyone's gonna show up.
Let me put it to you this way. Supposing they're going to sushi, what are we seeing from the characters? Is it gonna be like madcap with the whole gang goofing around? Are we gonna get more AsaDen implosion? Or is Denji gonna freak the fuck out? You
All
know,
right, that gives a few ideas. I think Denji's gonna freak the fuck out, and more Asuna is gonna happen, and more hijinks.
mm,
Like something's gonna happen. Another reveal. Maybe that's too soon, actually.
Because I'm
But
thinking,
I do think Asa and Denji should properly talk
I don't think that's gonna
about things.
happen.
Well, I can hope, right?
Yeah,
believe
God,
the
I'm just
AsaDen
because
minds.
I'm trying to tap into it because like a part of the sort of I wouldn't say fun, but part of the journey with Asa and Denji is like poor communication, right?
To be honest, yeah.
And
It's, I
so
mean,
It's just fun to watch.
it is absolutely hilarious, but there's also like parts where Asa's projecting her own
mm-hmm,
like insecurities onto Denji
Yeah,
because she sees like at least enough of herself in him, so she thinks he's come to the same conclusions, or like
right,
if those conclusions are good or positive for him, right? But she can only operate off of what she knows, and like that's entirely like informed by her own experiences and like how she's internalized those, and the way she
right.
internalizes things is far different from the way Denji internalizes things. And so that's like one of the absolutely most beautiful things about their relationship. Ugh, it's so sweet.
okay. So
True, true.
what do you think that means for chapter 165
I
coming
think
into it?
Asa's gonna keep trying to talk to him, and I think she's gonna be an ignorant little shit, and I think Katana Man's gonna say something else that makes me mad.
I usually.
All
Uh,
right, that's pretty realistic.
let's log. You're
Pretty.
locked the fuck in. I think we are gonna get. It's gonna be an AsaDen disaster. I think we are going to see
Yes, we
AsaDen
need more of those.
fight. I think we're going to see AsaDen argument. We're already building up the tension. You know, Asa's frustrated that her emotional appeal. She was very vulnerable, talking about her emotional moment
Yeah,
with them. He didn't respond to that. That's pretty. That's pretty rough. You know, we all
pretty
un-
rough, buddy.
we all understand why Denji's acting the way that he is, but she doesn't. And Fujimoto's very good with those kind of interiority things. Um, and you can see her being frustrated. And after she says she doesn't like sushi, he insists upon it. She's fucking pissed. Uh, so they're
The face
already
she made.
like, you know, if
She does look like a cat in that panel. Not gonna lie, like.
Yeah,
yeah,
she definitely exuded that energy.
activating ship brain. This is the start of how an argument with a couple goes. FYI, if you
That
didn't
was
know,
something
this
that I was thinking of too. I
yeah.
really don't want to see like happy-go-lucky. I just want to see them argue and argue and like
Well, it's a classic
the
in
best
a
thing
relationship.
about seeing them together on screen is that they're like they're completely opposite and yet similar in so many ways, and the friction that it creates is just so entertaining.
Yes, I think Denji is going to vent his frustrations with Asa's fame that she was in the spotlight that he had created and that she was getting credit for all the shit he did and that people were yelling at him even though he's Chainsaw Man because she was running around. I think we might get him, you know, getting a little mean with his Asa takes. He has some frustrations there with what has been going on with Asa and what she's been up to. Uh, you know, in her time in the spotlight, we might even get the more precious lore that everyone is begging for of what Asa was up to during that period of time when she
Yeah,
had some time in the limelight. Maybe Denji will list off some things he thought were whack that she was getting up. I would love to see that. That is something that has been in my mind. I think that introduces a very interesting tension into their relationship that Asa
it
had
really is. It really is.
wanted, and apparently squandered it or whatever. So plus, she was working with the church, and he does not like those motherfuckers. So that's kind of a weird
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
to do. So
So
I'm
it's
sure.
gonna
I
blow
mean,
up. Gonna
So
blow up.
yeah, I think we're going to
I
see
mean, like so many members of the
explosion.
church are with them right now. Like, like,
I
like.
know they
I
were.
don't think Denji minds though the Devil Hunter Club. He doesn't know that, I think. They were
Well,
a part of it.
he might find out soon because fucking Haruka won't shut the fuck up.
Oh my god, yeah. He's gonna
So
be calling him Chainsaw every 5 seconds, and he's gonna just shut his mouth with the hands.
yeah, I
I'm
think
just thinking of Denji like fist fighting like 30 dudes. He just man. He doesn't even need
oh
chainsaw,
dude,
dude.
no,
He'd
like this is
It's
mangle
gonna be
all of
one
them.
entertaining dinner, right?
Dan is in a delicate state, and he is known to pop off at such times. So, Matt, we've got a lot going on here. After we are heading into whatever's coming through for the rest of the story, something we didn't really comment on, but the structure of the story has gotten very unusual. Not really, you know, we're out in the wilderness now, so it's going to be really hard to get predictions going forward. That's just more content. So you can lock in for that coming through, including next week, where I'll be doing a special episode here for to celebrate 300 on the channel, something I really did not expect to happen at all. I didn't really expect I don't really expect anyone on YouTube generally to watch this thing.
Well, it is a growing community.
Yeah, so
We're getting there. Thank you to that community, everyone who watches, everyone who tunes in. Always love to see people in the comments enjoying it. Thank you to my guests and collaborators here, frequent guests on the podcast. Thank you for coming on, sharing your thoughts. Always interesting. Always love to see those perspectives on the story. We will be back again with a chapter review when the next one drops in 2 weeks. So if you love those, stay tuned for that. Thank you again, and goodbye.